My name is Brenda Richmond. I'm the Assistant Director of MIS for Hayes CISD. EST Group came in, and it was almost a last-minute initiative. The district decided they wanted to go with online registration to get rid of the gazillion pieces of paper that we print every year. The papers were mailed, some were lost, some were sent home with the kids the first day of school. And then we found out that our campuses all had their own registration packets. So everybody had a different version of what we thought was a district form. So this helped us eliminate the craziness with the paperwork, eliminate all the mailings, and especially when we were mailing stuff to inaccurate addresses that we would find. So that's an expense there with the postage, the cost of printing the paperwork. And then once the documentation would come back in, we had to find somebody to comb through every piece of paper and take that information and enter it in the software. So the accuracy of our data just increased, I can't tell you how much, because of this product. Our district is a high economic disadvantage area and a very high Spanish-speaking area. So the software group was wonderful with taking the product and making a Spanish version and an English version to accommodate the needs of those parents. And then those without computers, we set up labs, and they came in, and it was so easy to understand that the parents, who even I don't speak Spanish, but I was able to communicate with them through the product to help them get their children registered. We had a parent who had 4 kids. The parent could sign in with a single sign-on on the software and fill out the registration information for all 4 of her children without having to manually write a single thing. And not just manually write, but manually write it 4 times as she was having to do with the previous way we were doing things. So the parents were very ecstatic about this software. One thing with the product that we didn't realize going into it is when we would send home paperwork with the students, we had a separate registration form and we had a separate emergency card for our nurses. And the parents were manually filling that out, and even if we pre-printed some campuses, the parents weren't correcting the information, and sometimes the information on the emergency card didn't match what was on the AGR card. The emergency cards always went to the nurse. So the nurse, if they found an incorrect phone number or address, they just changed it on their card and not necessarily communicated that to the campus registrar, who was the keeper of that information in the software. So by having this one single point of entry for the parents, we now have accurate information for addresses and phone numbers to allow the nurses to protect that child. If there's something going on, they know there's an accurate number that they can call. People tend to focus on the data pieces. Is the name right? Is the address right? Which are very important features or very important things to keep track of, but also the medical situations of these children. If they're in a situation where they have a peanut allergy and we didn't know that because the parent didn't write it down, it's not necessarily our fault, but the way the parents are communicating to us now is just so much more. The data is just so much more rich that I feel like as a school district, we're really helping these kids now in more ways than just the academic. We're helping the kids as a whole, and the software has allowed us to gather that information to provide that service to them.